Remember fast Volvos? The 850 T5, the British Touring Car Championship? Well, the new Chinese-owned Volvo does remember, which is why it's toying with the idea of a new high-performance sub-brand called Polestar. And no, it has nothing to do with pole dancing and everything to do with neck-bending acceleration. So, meet the S60 Polestar. It's like nailing a crack pipe and watching Wallander. How many other saloon cars can you buy with a manual gearbox and over 500 horsepower from a transversely mounted V6 engine? If you tell me there's another one apart from the Volvo Polestar, I'll say you're lying. This is a loopy car, even by loopy standards. At its heart is a standard S60 T6 motor, but they've played around with it, new rods, I think the pistons are the same, standard crank, but all sorts of other stuff going on. A massive Garrett turbo working at 1.5 bar, and they've squeezed, wait for this, 508 horsepower and 424 foot-pounds of torque from it. It makes for a rather un-S60 driving experience. Let me get around this corner and then give you an idea of what we're talking about, because this is an extremely exciting car. Yes, that is oversteer, and now we get going. It's extraordinary. We're now doing 125 miles an hour. Why has Volvo built this car? It's quite simple. It's an exercise, it's a study to see whether Volvo can get back into the fast car market, and we are imploring them to do so, because you remember the heritage, you remember T5, T5R, estate racing cars, things bouncing over curbs. They were great days, and Volvo sold more cars because it made fast cars. Of course, it's snowy and slushy and not an ideal way to drive a car like this that's riding on Michelin Pilot Supersport tyres. What I can tell you about the car is it's got pretty decent electric power steering. Gearbox is a bit notchy, but do you know what? In this day and age, to be offered this stick thing here and those pedals down on the floor is such a privilege that I'm not going to complain about that. It's agile, it's got some very expensive Öhlins dampers that feel quite sophisticated in that the car's got lots of support, so it's firm, but it's not too crashy in terms of ride. And the performance, we've got some proper old school lag going on here, so not much happens below about 3, and then at about 3.5, it just takes off. And it's very, very fast indeed. And it's accompanied by a lovely, exciting V6 noise. The other thing you need to know about the Polestar is the price. There are plans to make, I think, 6 of these cars, and they will be £200,000. That's because they're very rare, because they're out there for specialised, I suppose, Volvo cognoscenti that want to own one of these kind of development models. But just imagine if this car was a bit less than the forthcoming M3, but still had 500 horsepower. That would be interesting. So how do you judge a £200,000 limited run concept super small saloon car? Well, you get the best super small saloon car on the market that's made, unsurprisingly, by a German company, and you put them together just to find out how wide of the mark the S60 is, if at all. Perhaps it's unfair comparing this new Polestar to the establishment, but I suppose we have to, because we have to understand where it sits in the kind of firmament of small, very fast saloon cars. So here we have it. The C63 with AMG Performance Pack, 487 horsepower, 442 foot-pounds. It is, by any stretch, an animal. On normal summer tyres, on quite a bit of snow, it's a bit ridiculous. But what a great little car. It does so many things so well. The steering is delicious. The chassis is just right. It's got a really nice balance on the road. It's a It's quite an agile car, and yet it can be very relaxing. And if you want to do sort of skiddy stuff, well, this one has the optional differential. So it will skid pretty much all day long, as you can now see. Because that's right, we're still oversteering. We're still oversteering. We're still oversteering. Yep, we're still oversteering. We're still oversteering. No, we're going straight. Oh no, we're oversteering again. We're oversteering again. Right, we're oversteering again. That's what happens when you've got one of these things and you drive on a bit of snow. This is not a very objective test today because it's not ideal in snow. And AMG should not be charging 1,600 quid for an optional locking differential, because this car is 56 basic, but the one has tested 72 grand. I suppose it's cheaper than 200, isn't it? The question I have to ask today is, should Volvo be attempting to even lock horns with this kind of machine? Have the Germans, the AMGs, the RSs from Audi and the BMW Ms moved it so far up the table now? Have they moved into a different territory, one that Volvo can't possibly hope to occupy? No, they haven't. I just think Volvo needs to occupy a space a bit below this, but kind of offer a real surprise performance package. And with 500 horsepower, dare I say it, the Polestar makes this thing feel a little bit slow in a straight line. And rather handily, Volvo has Robert Dahlgren, ex-World Touring Car driver, on hand to drive the S60 Polestar. I'm still in the Mercedes. The only way to see just how quick that thing is to have a drag race, right? It's wet and damp and icy and horrible, so a standing start is not fair on the Mercedes. So we thought we'd do a rolling start and just see how fast this Volvo really is. 2, 1, go. It just leapt away from me in second, then it leapt away in third. We're sort of no, it's going away from us. It's still going away from us. This has 487 horsepower. And the way it went away in third gear when he hit third and the boost came on was impressive. That's a very fast car. This wasn't a test to decide whether the S60 Polestar is indeed a better car than a C63 AMG. This was a test to discover whether Volvo's onto something with this whole Polestar brand and whether it should go after the Germans at their own game. Having experienced that blue thing fully lit in third gear, the answer is an emphatic yes.